Real Estate Answer Man, Episode 4. What are closing costs for home buyers, and how much will they cost? Hey everybody, I'm Barry Kessler, the Real Estate Answer Man, coming to you from sunny Southern California. This is a podcast where we talk about buying and selling real estate. We discuss investing in real estate, renting, leasing, landlord and tenant rights, as well as California real estate law. We discuss home improvement, going green. Is it a good idea to put solar panels on your roof? If it has anything to do with putting a roof over your head or someone else's head, we talk about it and much more on this show. I'll even take you to places only a native Southern California will know about. There's something for everyone to learn, so let's get started. Hey, thank you very much for joining me on this episode of the Real Estate Answer Man. In this episode, we are going to be talking about buyers' closing costs, okay? What are they? Why do you pay them? Well, both sellers and buyers pay closing costs in a real estate transaction. There are costs to do stuff, and so we're just talking about the buyers today. Now, generally, if you are getting financing, a typical buyer is going to pay approximately 3.5% of the sale price of the home in closing costs. Now, that's above and beyond your down payment. So let's take a home that's $500,000. What are these costs going to be? So first of all, you're going to have escrow fees. You're going to have to pay the escrow company. And generally, they have a base of about $200. And then they charge about $1.75 to $2 per thousand of the sale price. So in this case, on a $500,000 house, that is going to cost about $1,200 to you for escrow fees. You're going to be paying for title insurance. If you're planning on financing the home, of course, you're going to be paying the title insurance. Yes, the seller pays for the title search, but the bank is going to ask you to pay their part of the insurance to insure the deed. And so that protects them, and it also protects you. And on a $500,000 home, that policy is going to cost about $1,000. Now, another thing that you're going to be paying are property taxes. In Ventura County and in LA County as well, property taxes are going to set you back 1.25% of the purchase price on an annual basis. So during escrow, you're going to be asked, in fact, you're going to be required to prepay some of that property tax. It could be as much as 6 months worth of that property tax too. So that could be some money. On a $500,000 house, you're going to be paying $3,125 in prepaid property taxes. Now, for as long as you own that home, twice a year, you're going to be paying that $3,125. Once in November, on November 1st, and once in April, on April 10th. So your total, of course, is going to be what, $7,250. That's going to be, $6,250 is going to be, $6,250 is going to be what you're going to be paying yearly on that property, and that's going to be cut in half. And you're paying again in November and then in April. Now next, you're going to need to pay your property insurance in advance. That's for fire, liability, and you're going to be required to pay that by the lender in advance. And so that policy on a $500,000 home is going to set a buyer back from $900 to $1,200 per year. Now, we live in Southern California, and if you're talking about California now, you're talking about earthquakes. And so if you are buying a home, I suggest you buy earthquake insurance. You pay it through the California Earthquake Authority. And that policy on that $500,000 home is going to cost between $1,000 and $1,500 a year over the regular insurance coverage. I have to tell you that during the Northridge earthquake, we had earthquake insurance, and we were very happy that we did. It really saved our rear ends we needed to do a lot of repair. So if you can afford it at all, do it. What's next? Well, if you're taking out a loan on this property, you're going to have to pay fees to the lender. And these are the things that they call points. If you're not taking out a loan and you're paying in cash, you're not going to be paying any points or fees. And in fact, you're not even going to have to pay for the title insurance I talked about earlier. So what are the fees and points, and how much is that going to cost you? Well, points are a percentage of the money borrowed. So lenders are generally going to charge between 1 and 2 points, or 1 to 2% of the total loan. Then you're going to have to pay an appraisal fee of about $400 to $500. Loan tie-in fees, there's going to be a credit check fee, credit report fee. There's going to be other fees thrown in here and there. They're going to be added to that 1 to 2% that you're going to be paying in points. So let's say you're financing on this $500,000 home $400,000. So your points and lenders' fees together are going to be between $6,000 to $7,500 for all of that. So that can be a pretty penny too. You're going to be paying for inspections. A home between 2,000 to 2,500 square feet is going to cost between $350 to $500 for a full professional home inspection. It'll be, let's see. Now I'm going to be talking a little bit later on with a home inspector in another one of my episodes of the Real Estate Answer Man, so stay tuned for that. If the home has a chimney, you might want to spend a little extra money to have that checked out by, individually checked out by an expert in chimneys. That could cost around $300. Your regular home inspector will look at the chimney. They might go, oh yeah, it looks like there might be a chimney problem. But he's not going to tell you, he's not going to know exactly what the thing is. You need to get an expert in to see that. And now some people like to have their sewer line inspected too. They use a camera, they go inside to make sure if it's clogged or if it's damaged, or cracked. So that inspection is going to cost you about $350. So we're about at $1,000 for all of your inspections if you're going to go that route. The general inspector might suggest that you should have other items looked at, like your HVAC system, your plumbing, and stuff like that. So these things can cost you a lot of money later on, but to have them checked may not be as expensive as you think. People will come out there and take a look at it, give you an estimate to do the repair. That's a good way to get a nice free estimate and get an idea of what's going on. So there you have it. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, closing costs for a $500,000 home are going to be setting you back approximately 3% of the purchase price, or around $15,000. All that stuff that I just talked about, you put it all together, it's 15 grand. So if you're buying a home with cash, you're going to pay about half that amount, like about $7,000 instead of $15,000. It's a substantial difference, but hey, not all buyers can pay cash. Let's see, we can talk about having the seller pay some of those closing costs in a later show. We'll do that in another episode of the Real Estate Answer Man. So I think that's pretty good. Thanks for joining me. And that's it for this lesson from me, the Real Estate Answer Man. Thank you for listening the whole way through. Stay tuned for and download all of my other podcasts. And in the meantime, just visit my website at barrykessler.com or southerncaliforniarealestateanswerman.com. You see my blogs, listen to my podcast, watch my YouTube videos. And remember, I'm a real live real estate agent, and I work with my wife, Deborah, who is also a top producer at Troop Real Estate. So when you work with us, you will get 2 great agents for the price of 1. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Southern California area, especially the San Fernando Valley, Simi Valley, Moore Park, Thousand Oaks, and Agoura, the Kessler team is here to represent and to serve you with fantastic service and all of the finest tools in the industry. Remember to check out our website and blog at barrykessler.com. Thanks for listening. See you in your next home.